And we're back.
Back.
Do a crack in the... There you go. This is mine. This is mine.
He's got the cork out.
Since we got back from vacation, haven't had a chance to hit the store. And
Hitting the cellar instead.
so I'm classing it up with some fine wine.
Well, yeah, so today's shout out is to Big Wave Golden Ale, Kona Brewing.
Hashtag not a sponsor.
Liquid Aloha.
The camera doesn't want to pick it up. There it is.
There you go, Liquid Aloha.
Nice. Cheers.
Good trip to Hawaii?
Oh, awesome. Awesome trip. Pretty much impossible to follow European sports in Hawaii, though, unless you just record everything. Because you're literally on the other side of the world. But it was awesome.
That's great. You still watch some games. So
I watched highlights. I watched highlights. But this week I was back for the weekend, so I did watch a couple games, and then caught up highlights on the others. It's funny I don't know if because you were in Atlanta, but here they were televising the Leeds game over all the other games.
Oh.
American coach, 2 American players. They were really pushing this is like America's team is Leeds for as far as USA Network is concerned. Oh, drink. Yes, thank you. So yeah, let's go over the rules real quick because I already forgot.
Unfortunately, yes. So, first off, shout out, congrats to you. Obviously, you're completely, you're just getting back from vacation, but probably still in vacation mode. But it didn't deter you from having your absolute best week yet for pick'em. So 120 points, including 2 perfect picks from Austin. So it put you probably up near the top of the leaderboard for the week. I unfortunately had a little bit too much Coors Light on Friday and proceeded to miss putting in my picks. Yes. So I unfortunately ended up with only 40 points, for sure last in the group. The one bright side being that I was able to get in 4 picks, and I scored with all 4 of those picks. So I'll look at the silver lining there. So, yeah, made the best of a bad situation, but I'll drink to that. And then on the fantasy side, we actually had some really strong weeks. So I was second in the league with 83 points. I think the leader had 91 points. And then you were just behind that in 4th at 75. So solid week all around. Gallagher, yep. 2 yellows, 2 quick yellows. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we got a couple more rules that we'll be exploring. Probably be on the board for next week.
Yeah, I'll put that on the board for next week, and we got to get some prop bets in for next week.
Well, we did. So we actually skipped over that. We actually did make prop bets last week at the end of the episode, and once again, Austin wins.
I don't even remember what were they.
Well, what we're doing, at least now, what our prop bet is each week we pick an underdog that we think is going to tie or win. So you had picked Everton to tie or win at Brentford, and I picked Leeds to tie or win at Brighton.
Honestly, that was close too, though.
Yeah, it could have been a tie easily. So, yeah, Leeds lost 1-0, and Everton tied 1-1. So Austin got the upper hand again.
Cheers to you. Cheers. All right, well, those are all the pre-game drinks there. Why don't we segue into the weekly recap? Where do you want to start? What was the most interesting game or storyline to you last week?
It was interesting. Obviously, I just watched the highlights, so I didn't get a chance to watch any of the games live. The only game I watched a little bit of live was Tottenham Forest. I thought that was an exciting Premier League, energetic game. Fans were into it. Just yeah, overall, really exciting game. It's giving me more and more sort of faith. Early on when we saw where Forest was kind of getting placed for like where they're falling in the betting odds and everything, it was kind of a shock. Like, what's going on here? But they have a really strong fan base. That place does not look fun to go and play in.
Yeah, exactly. So I was taking notes during the game to remember for this. My notes are that crowd is real.
And they're on the field. It's like,
dude,
there's none of this like Olympic Stadium shit where there's a track separating the fans. They're there, right they're on there, you,
and they make an impact. I made a mental note for myself for doing weekly picks. Obviously, Tottenham's a much more talented, deeper team, and even they struggled to win that game. But going forward, any mid-level or bottom teams that go there, I'm gonna just hit Nottingham Forest every time for the win, because that fan base is going to carry them to a few W's for sure. How funny. Okay, one of my other notes was just hilarious. I love the goalkeeper with the baseball hat.
Oh yeah.
It's so fucking funny.
Just no shame. No shame.
But the best part, he was wearing the hat and like it was providing zero shade for his eyes. It was still like directly into his face. And then he made the penalty kick save. And then he took it off and he was like celebrating with it. It's like, this is my new fucking team.
Oh, so intimidating. I love it. I love every second of that game. So that game was awesome. A few other highlights just to point out. We already mentioned the red card. So Conor Gallagher on Chelsea, early red card in the game. Chelsea proceeds to go on and win that game, down a man, 2/3 of the game at least, maybe even 3/4 of the game. Yeah. Two goals from Sterling, surprise. But he finally kind of, shut the haters up, I would say, for a game.
I'll be quiet.
Yeah.
His first goal was deflected, but whatever.
Yeah.
Second goal was he was in the right spot, but he's a good player. I don't think he's your answer.
He did what he usually fails to do. Yeah. So we got to give him his props for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was an exciting game. Once again, another warning sign for Leicester.
If you're Leicester, you are kicking yourself. You had an hour with a man up and you lost. It was 0-0 when he left the field.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Not good. Not good. So that was I think an exciting game to watch. I also had down here, we can't skip over the absolute beatdown that Liverpool put on Bournemouth.
I texted you. I was like, "This is a get right game."
Yeah.
I was like, "We've been struggling, and then we get Bournemouth at home, where they're just like, fuck this," and they just poured it on.
Yeah, I think the one funny thing, so obviously I was looking at it from a fantasy perspective as well, and it felt like every single person on that team scored except Salah.
Yeah, I know. I don't have him on my team, so I was fine with it. I have Luis Diaz. I was stoked.
Yeah, so he came through with a brace, and then so I was a little ticked off, I'll say, with my team. I probably could have edged up in the first if he had picked up a few. Yeah, he only ended up with 3 points.
That youngster had a good goal too. The first goal, Elliott.
Oh yeah.
I think he's like 19, something like that.
Yeah,
super young.
Yeah, I forgot. I had a note here to shout him out. If you recall, last year he had that terrible leg break.
Yeah, he dislocated his ankle or something, right?
Yeah, or whatever it was, and so to see him back and scoring goals like that, you could tell if you watched the game, he was really emotional. And
well, do you know why he was emotional? After the game, he said to like one of the people interviewing him, I guess his grandma died like a day before or something. So he was he was like close with her, and so that's why he was emotional. I thought it was.
They failed to mention it on the broadcast, so I thought it was just about coming back from the interview.
I saw a storyline, yeah. So I think that was the reason, but pretty cool either way. Like, just to make that comeback at all, and then to be able to score on a team like Liverpool at 19, injury or no injury, pretty awesome.
Pretty awesome. Yeah, speaking of comebacks, the next note I had here was just about Man City again.
Yeah, we got to talk about that game.
Yeah, so they were down 2-0 early. I think the 20th minute or 24th minute or something.
Yeah, to the Zaha-less Crystal Palace.
Yes, exactly, and start chipping away, goal back, all of a sudden take the lead, end up winning 4-2, being down 2-0. So I think just another awesome display of their resilience, kind of perseverance. This is the second week now, right? So we know what happened at Newcastle, going down 3-0, coming back to tie and with chances to win there. So on the road twice now, they've kind of showed this, I'd say, some warning signs that they're not coming into games like really ready.
Newcastle?
Yeah, really ready for some of these teams. But when they turn it on, it just feels like they can overcome anything.
Yeah, it was probably sometimes when you have such a big game, there can be a letdown the following week. And they were missing Callum Wilson didn't start. They had that statue, Christian Wood. And then who was the other dude that was out right behind him? They had another guy now. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, they were missing 2 starters from the previous week. Yeah. But yeah, I think the Man City game stood out to me. It's just like we're better than every team in the league by a mile. Even when things don't go their way, they're like, oh, okay, we can still score 4 goals.
They turn it on, like a flick of a switch. And
my fantasy captain Haaland with the hat trick.
Oh yeah, 34 fantasy points.
Cheers to you, dude.
And then last year, I think we talked about it a little bit the last couple episodes, just in our real or fake section. Just once again, Brighton kind of staying on this streak, looking really strong. Obviously, it was a close, tight game, I would say, this last week. But they just keep finding ways to to do it.
So I watched that game, and one of my notes was like, dude, this Brighton team is legit, because when they go forward together, and they sync up passes. They could do it direct. They could go wide with it, but they just move the ball so well. They play so well together, and they're pretty lethal up front. Obviously, they're having a tremendous start. What are they, like second in the league right now, or something like that?
They're tied second with Man City and Tottenham, just behind on goal differential.
Yeah, I don't expect them to stay there, but I think they're a legit team, and they could easily finish in the top 10, I think. So they're playing out of their minds right now.
A team to keep watching. I'm really interested to see, that they've showed, like last year, I think they finished ninth or something. I'm really curious to see how long, because it feels like they have a little bit of a foothold here. I mean, they're 3 points up on 5th. They're tied with Man City and Tottenham right now. How long can they hold on to that top 6 area before they kind of fall back? Because I feel like they're one of those teams, if they keep the momentum going, they have a good sort of fan base at home. They have that sort of bulldog type nature where they're none of the players there are going to get pushed over by a stronger team. Yeah, they're going to get back. So
I think they continue for the next 2 weeks, because they have they go on the road at Brighton tomorrow, and then they play Leicester City at home over the weekend, and then they have Bournemouth on the road, Crystal Palace at home. They could potentially win all 3 games. I don't expect them to, but they could at least draw or win those games. And then they go through a tougher stretch. Beginning of October, they hit Liverpool, Tottenham, Brentford. Nottingham Forest should be a good game. So it gets a little, and then Man City. So I think they'll be good for another month.
They'll be tested in that range. So I mean, if they come out of this sort of quote unquote easy stretch, still in the top 6 range, it's really boding well for a strong season. Yeah, so that'll be an interesting team to watch.
I know. I like how they're playing. The only team that I am not liking how they're playing, and I'm really concerned, Aston Villa. I don't understand. They are struggling.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like the way they're playing either. I think the one that rings out the most alarm bells to me is Leicester, obviously.
Yeah.
But, if I had to choose a second, it would be Aston Villa. I think they've underperformed versus the players they have. This isn't like Wolves underperforming, right? Or Everton. Like, they have some good players on.
They just look bad to me. Like every time I watch them, they just don't like. Even like Everton and Leicester, I'm not as concerned because I feel like it just doesn't look as bad. They're just not a cohesive team right now.
Yeah, there does seem to be kind of like a not disorganization, but like lack of like flow.
Yeah.
Like when you watch them play, like you just spoke about Brighton, who's like the epitome of like not the big names, but the way they play just flows.
They know how to play together.
Flow from defense to offense. And Aston Villa is just, you don't see that. Mm-hmm. Like you see a little individual spurt here, a little one there, but there's not this like full game sort of cohesive where one unit working together. It's just it feels off. I think it's a perfect way to say it. Like you said, it just doesn't feel right when you watch.
Yeah. Well, Stevie G's got a lot of work ahead of him because he's got to straighten that out. So hopefully he can do it. I love Stevie G. All right, anything else, or should we hop into the Champions League draw?
Let's do it.
All right. Do you have the picks up in front of you?
Yeah, I got it open here. So so we have Group A through H. That was so 8 groups total that were selected after the final playing games were battled out. So all 32 teams. So we've gone through each group. And we've picked who we think is going to finish first and second in the group. We're not caring about third and fourth, but obviously the 2 spots that will advance. It would be a little bit interesting later on if we have some time, we can look at who we think is going to finish third, because those are the ones that will go on to the Europa League. So we could look at who we think is the best team that'll be not making the Champions League knockout stage. But we each went through. We made our picks for what we think who's going to finish first and second. So I'll let you start it off in Group A with who you have picked.
Yeah. Looking at our picks, I'm surprised. We actually picked some different ones. So, okay. Yeah. So, Group A, Ajax, Liverpool, Napoli, and Rangers. We both picked Liverpool to go 1, but I went Napoli to take the second spot.
Tough call. Yeah, I went with Ajax at number 2.
Napoli is playing, like, at least right now, they're playing really well.
They are. I'm not as convinced about them, with some of the pieces they've lost, but I like them. Like, I like Napoli as a team. I just love, just from what I've seen from Ajax, over the last 5 years, just the way they play as a team, especially in this type of format where it's not like a one and done, right, where it's a group stage. You're playing every team home and away. I like their chances coming out of this group, number 2. I think it'll be really tight and close, though, because I really do. I agree. I think Napoli's been playing really well.
Yeah, that'll be a good group.
Yeah. So in Group B, so moving on. So this group is Porto, Atletico Madrid, Bayern Leverkusen, and then Club Brugge. So we both have Atletico Madrid number 1 here, but we do have another difference at number 2 again. So I went with Leverkusen out of the Bundesliga at number 2, and you went with Porto. So tell me your feelings on that.
To be honest, it was just a gut pick. I haven't watched Leverkusen at all, so I feel like they're not usually a good team. I feel like Porto is always a strong team, especially at home. So that was more of a legacy pick right there for me.
Yeah, I feel I'm almost kind of the opposite there, where I feel like Leverkusen, maybe they're not, stars of the highest order, but they're playing in a tougher league, and I think with that comes, some veteran sort of edge that I think will come through here. So once again, kind of a toss-up, I feel like, and we flip different sides there.
Definitely an easy draw for Atletico Madrid. They are pretty pumped to be in that group.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's
Group
one of the
C, though,
ones.
this is the group of death. Bayern, Barca, Inter, and then poor Victoria Pilsen just don't stand a chance. So we both picked Bayern, which is funny. And then I really wanted to pick Inter, but I was like, is Barcelona really not going to make it out of the group stage? Like, I can't even fathom that. So I was like, they have to get through just on their uniform alone. Like, it can't happen, right?
I know. I mean, I was kind of in that same torn place as well, but just the pieces. I've been watching all of Inter's games so far this year. I just feel like they have that edge. Not quite like the Mourinho days, right, when they took on Barcelona, who was way more talented than them, but they have that sort of fight that I don't think Barcelona has. Like, the players on Barcelona don't instill like that like fervent energy that I feel like is going to be critical in the final 10 minutes of a game when you're exhausted. They might have more talent on paper.
Maybe
they have a better striker on paper, but I think Inter's gonna come through with.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I really hope you're right. All right, Group D, who we got? Frankfurt, Tottenham, Sporting, and Marseille. We both picked Tottenham and Marseille 1 and 2. I think that one's pretty straightforward.
I know. I was surprised you picked Marseille. I thought that was kind of. I think the go-to would have been Frankfurt here. Probably with betting odds, but.
Yeah, but I love Marseille, or you should.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah, that was a little bit with my heart, but I feel like they should win. But maybe I'm delirious.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, Group
E. Yeah, we got Milan, AC Milan, Chelsea, RB Salzburg, and then Dinamo Zagreb. So we have the same 2 picks, but flip-flopped here. So you have Milan winning the group. I have Chelsea, and then I have Milan at 2, Chelsea at 2. Probably kind of a toss-up there.
I was just getting a little
there's too much you
could
split the teams with.
Yeah, I can see Chelsea. Chelsea's not as strong as I think the other top English teams are. That was the only reason.
Yeah.
Unless they play Pulisic. Drink.
Straight up. I need another beer here.
There you go. All right, well, you get your other beer. I'll read through Group F. Real Madrid, Leipzig, Shakhtar Donetsk, and Celtic. Now, I really wanted to pick Celtic, but I just couldn't do it. So, you and I both chose Real Madrid to win the group. I think that's the heavy favorite. But you picked Leipzig, and I picked Shakhtar Donetsk.
Oh, all right.
I tried to go a little off the radar on this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like Leipzig's team from what I've seen in the past.
Yeah, in the past. I'm not familiar. I don't know who they have on their team right now, to be honest with you. Maybe like 2 guys I know.
Yeah, well, Nkunku I think is awesome. I think he's amazing. So they have pieces. I forget which game I watched. I think it was a Bundesliga game. So I did watch a game early at the start of the season with them, and they still looked like they had that team of like energy and running, and obviously they like perfect example, right? Getting Werner back is that type of energy and like running. Maybe not all the finishing, but I think they'll create a lot of chances and just put a lot of pressure on teams.
Yeah, the Werner way. A lot of energy, not a lot of finishing. Yep, that sounds right. All right, Group G, we have Man City, Sevilla, Dortmund, and Copenhagen. We both, you have to pick Man City number 1. We both did it, and then we both picked Dortmund. I feel like if I were to pick my safest bets, it would be that group.
Yeah.
Right?
I like that too. Yeah, I agree. I think I wouldn't put too much money on Sevilla to make noise here, so I like that.
Yeah.
Group is the most solid.
Group H, I'm sorry I had to do this, but I went against Juve. I picked PSG, so it's PSG, Juve, Benfica, and Maccabi. Who knows who they are? Because I certainly don't, so I didn't pick them. But I picked Benfica to finish second above Juve. I just don't like Juve's team that much this year, and it saddens me.
Really?
I don't want to dislike them.
I mean, I'm not, I guess, as averse to their team. I really think Vlahovic is insane.
He's good.
I think he's the type of player that makes up for not having two other good players to a degree. I don't see a way that they I have them. I don't have them winning the group. I have them in second to PSG. I just don't see a way that they end up third or fourth. So
Benfica's pretty good. Benfica's pretty good. But
yeah, they made noise.
But I was trying. Yeah, I don't know. You got Quadrado on that team, and who's the dude on the other side? I forget his name.
Alexandro at left back, and you got Rabiot, who might be on the move.
Yeah, exactly. Who knows if he's even on the team?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I went a little off on that one, so we'll see. Yeah. We'll see how it turns out. But either way, it's going to be a lot of fun. Group C, awesome. Even Group D too. So
those are going to be some fantastic games early on in the Champions League.
Yeah. When does it start? Champions League.
Obviously, yeah. So this week we have midweek Premier League. I think it's October or September.
Starts September 6th. Dynamo Zagreb and Chelsea lead it off. And then Dortmund and Benfica, Sevilla. Yeah, there's a bunch of games on that Tuesday the 6th. That's awesome. PSG Juve right off the bat. That'll be a fun one. So yeah, should be good.
Sweet. All right. Okay, so what do we got next on the agenda here? So
hit us with the transfers. I know you got them.
All right. Yeah. So I'll hit the normal news.
There actually were some rumors.
Yeah, there were. So the biggest news that's kind of been blasting all the headlines is the continued Antony saga with Man U. It's now looking very official that it's happening. He's actually shown up for physical evaluation. I think today he showed up. It's looking like it's in the neighborhood of 90+ million euros of a transfer, which is an insane amount of money to put on a young guy in terms of pressure and what's going to be expected. So the more I think about it, the more I don't really like this move for that much money. I don't think he solves all their problems, and it's way too much money and pressure to be putting on someone like that.
But they should be able to afford it. So
They should. Yeah. I would agree with that.
But yeah, it doesn't solve problems, but I don't know. They're at least making moves for younger players, and I'm down for that. And I'll even give him Casemiro, even though he's 30. He's younger than guys they've been going after. So
yeah, true. And then a few other moves in the Premier League. So West Ham has signed Paqueta from Lyon for what's potentially up to $50 million. So it's very likely to be the largest signing West Ham has ever made, even with some of the large ones they've made in recent years. So he's a striker coming in, Brazilian, pretty well known in League One. So yeah, they picked up Scamacca from Italy, and then now Paqueta from France.
Yeah,
they're getting, and they have Antonio, so they've got some good sort of striking options. I really expect to see them move into more of a two-striker. Maybe more like a 4-4-2, or like a 3-3-1-2. Some sort of new type of formation with all the strike power they have.
Right. The only other, if they don't, I would say that they are planning on moving away from Antonio, but I don't know if that is what they're thinking. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, not sure there, but I think an interesting move from a team that kind of struggled a little bit to start the year, but we had both said we weren't really that concerned with. They already have a good core there, I would say.
Yeah, I think they have. I think they have expectations of, hey, let's try to crack that top 6. Yeah. I don't think that they will, but I'm sure they think they can.
Yeah,
and that's what they're shooting for. So
they're making the moves like they can. So and it's some of those are sort of hit and miss. Some of those signings. So this is the type of signing that I feel like is a little bit of a gamble. We've talked about it before.
Yeah, it's a home run swing,
but it could really pay off. Like if he comes through, it could be that game changer that gets him to that point. So some other moves going on. So obviously in the offseason, Nick Pope transferred to Newcastle, took the starting job. So it looks like Dubravka, who was the starter, is actually on the move to Man U to be backup to De Gea.
Yeah, I don't really care.
And Darlow will be staying at Newcastle to be backup. I really like Dubravka, so I think it'll be a good challenge.
Yeah.
Kind of good competition for De Gea. The rumor right now is on the Tottenham side is that they want Carrasco from Atletico Madrid. I don't know how much I buy into that, but supposedly his release clause is up to $60 million, which is not what he's worth. So
for real.
I don't know what's going to go on there. Some other news. So Cavani has finally found a team. He's going to be signing at Valencia in Spain.
I'm just happy it's not the MLS.
The latest on Bellingham. So I think we talked about it an episode or two ago, but there's a ton of interest, obviously, in him not moving right now in this transfer window, but at least by the end of next season. It appears that Liverpool has become sort of the front runner, and potentially as early as January.
Do you think he plays? If that goes through, you think he plays on that team?
That's what I was going to ask you. It could be they're saying right now they're estimating it to be in excess of 100 million euros to sign him.
I don't think he's good enough to make that starting lineup. But
seriously, maybe if
it is a long season, and he'll probably start a few games here or there, but
because Jota's hurt, right? But if he's back healthy, that's 4 guys that should be starting at the front, and 5 guys. I forgot about Nunez. Yeah, so you got Jota, Darwin Nunez, Salah, and Diaz.
Don't forget Firmino; he's still there.
Yeah, and Firmino. Yeah, why? Yeah, doesn't make sense to me unless you really truly make him almost like a holding midfielder. But I don't like it.
I don't. Yeah, I'm thinking smoke, not fire, on that one.
Yeah, and then we got Reguilon, who was kind of the odd man out at Tottenham, is officially on loan to Atletico for the season.
That probably works out for everybody.
Yeah, out of the Premier League. Andrea Belotti just signed with Roma from longtime Torino stalwart, has moved on to Roma. So kind of interesting. I'm interested to see what they do there, because obviously they have Tammy Abraham as sort of the starting striker. Do they try a 2-striker approach, or is Belotti just going to be coming off the bench? I'm curious to see what goes on there. And lastly, Maupay from Brighton has officially moved to Everton. Everton in desperate need of striking help, cannot score goals, cannot finish in front of goal. So they're kind of exhausting all options right now.
They really miss Richarlison.
Calvert-Lewin. Yeah, well, Calvert-Lewin's been hurt, which is was supposed to be their plan.
So they're missing their 2 best attackers from last year.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was watching the Tottenham game. We didn't mention it, but Richarlison came off the bench, and he completely created the second goal. He worked hard, just busted some dude off the ball, turned and made a perfect cross right to Harry Kane to just head in. It was everything I love about Richarlison. And then he did some stupid ass shit later and dove 5 minutes later, and I was like, okay, this is the stuff I don't like about him. But I love his he works hard. He's got a lot of fuck you in him, and he's got a ton of talent. I like how he plays, and I feel like he needs to get more field time.
But how? Who you taking off?
I would find a way to get him more time. I would take off one of the midfielders and go 4 up top and play him kind of. I think I would do that. Who's the dude they play alongside Højbjerg? I would pull him. Fuck, what was his name? I can never think of names.
Betancourt.
Yeah, Betancourt. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I would sacrifice him, or even Kulishevsky. Like, I think he's better than him. I maybe I'm crazy, but I would rather do that.
So just a little tidbit to add on Richarlison. So obviously you saw the point of the game, right, where he did a little bit sort of juggle, a little bit of time wasting, showboating or whatever, and then proceeded to get like a hard foul, yellow card on him, right? So after the game, there was maybe a journalist from Nottingham Forest or somebody was like, that wasn't cool. We should have been booked for unsportsmanlike conduct. Conduct, And Richarlison just responded to the tweet saying, "Cry more."
Yes. See, I think he's great. I fucking love him.
I know. I loved it.
Yeah, come on, dude. It happens. He got knocked down. That's what he gets for it.
Yeah. Well, actually, it was the. It looks like it was the head coach that actually had some comments. He said, "I wouldn't want my players to do that. What Richarlison did, but if that's accepted at Spurs, then that's nothing to do with me. But I wouldn't. It wouldn't be accepted. It wouldn't be accepted here." That's
man, dude, I love the shit talking like this.
And then he just came back with a cry more, with a crying face emoji.
Oh, what a sad. That's hilarious. Well, I'm glad he's unplugged. Yeah, I wouldn't be happy about the juggle either, and I would hit him just like that dude hit him. I'd actually probably hit him better. I think he should have gone with more of like a full body like hockey check instead of that was a soccer player trying to hit hard. It wasn't a See, that's why there needs to be more Americans in the English Premier League, because there would be some more solid tackles like that.
Yeah, and some more of that shoulder to shoulder, not even just like chest to chest.
Yeah, just straight up like boom. Yeah, there would be so much more truckage, and there's like so much less diving and bullshit. But yeah,
I know.
I thought it was bottom line, he needs to play more. Also, my last note on that game, because I never got to it. Gotta love Nottingham Forest. Don't have the chest advertisement.
Oh yeah,
love it. I
forgot about that. Yeah,
and I was shocked after all the money they spent. They might need that chest advertisement.
Just straight red.
They have a little logo. They have like their logo and then an advertisement right here, like how the NBA does it.
Yeah, up in the corner. Yeah, and they have the 2 stars
and then a shoulder one, but no across the chest, and it just is so refreshing to see.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I fucking love it.
Yeah, shout out our fantasy league, straight red, baby, straight red jerseys.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So you have a trivia question ready for me?
Yeah, why don't I hit you with trivia first, and then you can hit me with yours. So I got a few questions here, mostly sort of stat history related. First one, though, is about this season in the Premier League. So who do you think, without looking, has been the stingiest defense to start the season? The fewest goals allowed through week 4. Who do you think that is?
Brighton?
Wow, you got it. They've allowed one goal in 4 games.
That's what I'm talking about. Well, I obviously know they're playing well. I know they're winning games. They just won 1-0.
They're not scoring.
And they're not scoring a ton. So that was just a process of elimination right there. Yeah, drink.
Yeah, they're right.
I earned that one, baby.
Yeah, let's see here. So they're actually what is this? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they're sort of middle of the table in terms of goals scored, but they're number 1 in goals against. So yeah, good one there. You've been watching your games. All right. So next one is kind of about Premier League stats. So let me get those up and running here. So how many times? So I asked you a trivia question, I think, a few episodes ago about how many times you thought since the history of the Premier League, so 30 years ago, 1992, have all 3 promoted teams been relegated, right? So they all came up and then were relegated. So now I'm going to ask you the opposite question. How many times do you think all 3 that have been promoted have actually stayed up for at least a season?
How many was the other one? It was only.
How many times do you think that's happened in the 30 years?
Yeah, no, I heard the question, but what was the answer to the one where all three got relegated?
It was only one time, so
Only one
97,
time.
98.
I feel like it's got to be more than that.
I'll tell you that yes, it is more. It is more than that. I'll tell you that.
How many years back did you go?
So since the Premier League started, so 1992 and on.
So 1,000 years ago. I'm gonna go with
30 years.
11.
Wow, that's really high.
Too high?
I'll give you one. I'll give you one more guess. Yeah, how many times have all
three
promoted avoided relegation?
3.
Got it.
Okay.
3 times.
No, I drank. I was off on the first one, so.
Yeah, 2001, 2011, and then 2017 with Brighton, Huddersfield, and Newcastle most recently.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So that was pretty interesting tidbit compared to the last one. Next one.
I'm ready.
So once again, this is a Premier League history question. Since 1992, can you name? First of all, this is a 2-part question actually. How many teams have been in the Premier League that entire 30 years? Can you guess the number?
Oh my god.
This will be a half sip if you get this one wrong.
I'm gonna say 42.
42. No. I didn't word my question right. So, how many teams have always been in the Premier League?
Oh, okay, sorry.
Like,
I thought you said total number of teams that have been in the league.
No. So, from 1992 until now, they have never been relegated.
Okay. 92. Okay, so we're talking like almost 30 years.
30 years. Yeah, it's the 30-year anniversary.
That's crazy that that's 30 years. I'm going to say 7.
Real close. Half sip. It's 6 teams. So my main question was, can you name the 6 teams that have been in the Premier League? I'll give you 8 guesses.
Manchester, Arsenal, Chelsea, or both Manchesters.
No, only one of them.
Oh, it was only Man United? Fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, so
you got 3. One more miss allowed.
Liverpool.
Yep.
Everton.
Yep.
One more, yeah?
Yeah, there's one more, and you have one more miss. One more guess you can miss.
Is it West Ham?
No, it's Tottenham.
I wasn't sure about like early 90s Tottenham. That was before my time.
Me neither.
That was a good question.
I knew Everton was part of that, like going into this, but the Tottenham one was the one that surprised me.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew.
All right, well, you got most of that. I'll give you just a half sip on that. Okay, last question here, once again about Premier League history. Once again, I'll give it a 2-parter here. What do you think is the fewest goals allowed in a season ever?
Oh.
So in the 30 years of the Premier League, there's at the very start of the Premier League, the season used to be a little bit longer. I think there were more teams, so there were like 42 games instead of 38 or something. But regardless, average 38 games a season. Taking that as the
since
base
92 again.
Yeah, but I'll give you this hint that this took place after the year 2000.
Okay.
So you don't need to worry about the 90s.
I'm gonna say
after the year 2000.
Wait, do I need to name the team or just the number?
Well, first I was gonna see if you can get to the number, and it's gonna be multiple choice. So
Let's try,
is it
42 goals?
No. Not even close. So I was going to give you multiple choices here. So is it A, 10 goals?
No.
B, 15 goals? C, 21 goals? D, 24 goals?
24.
No.
No? Damn. What was it?
15 goals.
That's insane.
Yeah. 15 goals.
So then your follow-up is, who is it?
It was going to be that. I don't think you'll guess it, but can you think of who this team was? It was a title winning team.
Yeah, I'd probably go with one of the United teams.
After the year 2000. I'll give you another hint. I'll tell you, it's not the United team from that era. Think of a manager that's very defensive.
Oh, Mourinho. Chelsea's Mourinho.
Yep.
Yeah. Good hint. You gave it to me on the hint.
Yeah, so 04-05, only 15 goals allowed the whole season.
It's pretty insane, honestly.
Yeah. When I saw that just jumped off the page. I was like, that is wild. That's less than a goal every other game.
You know, he was just like masturbating to that every night. Wow. He fucking loves his defense.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Do you have any more?
No, that's it. So why don't you take the torch?
All right. So I was watching this week, and I saw Scott Parker. I saw Patrick Vieira on the bench, and I was like, damn, man, there's a lot of good players that are coaches right now. So I did a coaches-themed trivia question. Pulled the numbers. Of all the coaches in the Premier League, who was the top scorer in their career?
Regardless of league or like in
all competitions. I took their goals, assists, and games played from all competitions, even if it was even a top league.
International too and everything.
Correct.
Wow. Now I got to think through every manager. I got to think through every team. How many guesses do I get?
I'll give you a hint. How about that?
Okay.
Well, no, it'll give it away. I'll give you a couple. I'll give you a couple guesses.
No. I think I don't know. Yeah, there are a lot of good coaches. I think who scored more goals? Fuck. I think Lampard scored more goals.
You got it.
Yes. Okay.
So Lampard is number one with 268 goals, all competitions, which is a pretty far distance ahead of everybody else.
Yeah. There's Gerrard too.
Stevie G is second, 191.
Yeah, I had that's why I was like.
Frank Lampard's also played the most amount of games at almost 900.
Wow.
So, here's the follow-up question. If you can name the top five, so there's three others. I was 1 and 2. There's three others. I don't want to give it away with my hint.
The next three on the list?
The next three on the list of goals scored. Now, you got to take into consideration some guys were defenders, some guys were midfield, whatever. Can you name two of the next three guys? Because I think you might be able to. You got the first two.
I'm going through the list, yeah.
There was a surprise to me that I don't think you will get because I definitely wouldn't have gotten it. I'll give you a hint. I got a good hint. Two of the three are a top 6 team. One of the three is a bottom team.
Yeah, well, I mean, Arteta was going to be my next.
Got it.
And then I was torn between Conte or Vieira?
You got number 6 and number 7.
Okay.
Conte is
So
number
there's some-
7 with
Okay.
46 goals. And Vieira is number 6 with 55
Okay.
goals, 68 assists, though. He was more of a
Yeah,
facilitator.
playmaker.
Yeah.
Is it somebody like Hassenhudel or something?
Dude, you got it. He's number
it?
3.
Oh my
You
God!
got
I was
it. Wow.
I was like trying to think of coaches because all the other coaches I'm going through, I know they play like defense or midfield. I was like, so who are the coaches that look like they were players that like could have been strikers?
I
You know?
can't believe you got that. I didn't know this dude was a fucking player. He played on the Austrian national team.
Okay.
He played most of his time in the Bundesliga. He did play some Austria league as he was coming up. He played a couple years at Bayern Munich, played center forward, but the dude was a stud. Had 148 goals, 7 assists, and played almost 550 games, all competitions.
Yeah,
So,
he was a boss. Wow.
Stud. Yeah, I had no idea.
There.
And then
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know anything about the stats or where he played, but I was going through. I was like, that guy didn't score any goals. Like,
dude, he
like
was
I know
a player.
Scott Parker didn't score that many goals.
No, Pep Guardiola.
Nottingham Forest's coach was for sure not a striker.
No, we talked about Thomas Tuchel in a previous episode.
We knew he plays defense, right? So, yeah, it was kind of process of elimination there. I didn't think Eddie Howe was a goal scorer. Ten Hag, I don't think so. So
yeah, way to go, dude. I would never have gotten that, but that surprised me. So I learned a little bit about him, and then surprising to me, number 5, Jurgen Klopp, 56 career goals. Yeah, he wasn't even a forward. 56 career goals, 7 assists. He edged out Vieira by 1 goal.
Wow,
respect. So yeah.
That's
Pretty
awesome.
cool. There's a lot of English coaches that are ex-players, obviously. There's only a few that didn't really play. You have, or played at like an amateur level. Mm-hmm. So you have, those guys are Thomas Frank at Brentford, Brendan Rodgers at Leicester City. Shout out to the Irishman. Mm-hmm. Steve Cooper at Nottingham Forest. And I can't say his name right. Bruno Lage? Lage.
Bruno Lage.
Yeah. But one of the cool shout out, can you name the only American coach in the league?
Jesse Marsh?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you knew his name. You obviously did.
Oh, okay. Good.
So he had a pretty good career, MLS based. Okay, a lot of drinking on this one. American and a bottom or a less than top 5 team or league, sorry. But all competitions, 375 appearances, 35 goals, 21 assists, respectable player.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think he was like that much of a stalwart playing. So.
Yeah, he's played.
Interesting topic.
Of that list, this isn't a trivia question. Who do you think, if you had to fill one spot on your roster, who do you think would be the best pickup and could play like the last 10 minutes of a game?
That's a good question. I feel like Arteta's probably the closest to like still playing.
I feel like it's got to be one of 3 guys. It's got to be Lampard, Gerrard, Arteta, maybe Scott Parker, but he'd probably get red carded in like the first 5 minutes.
Yeah. No, he'd be too slow and just foul the shit out of everyone. I think the person I would most love to have on my team was Antonio Conte.
Oh, for sure. But he's 53 now. I don't know.
I know, but if we're doing an over 50 or whatever, over 45, give me Conte all day.
Yeah. I think I'd go Stevie G. I think he could.
I bet Pep still got it too. He's fit.
Nah, I feel like he's not. I feel like. How old is he? Because to
I
me,
feel
he
he's probably
seems.
the same as Conte.
Yeah, he's in his 50s. I feel like
Yeah.
there's a 10-year gap between. Like,
Well, no. I'm just saying, like, if we're gonna do this, like, over 45, I
oh,
feel like you
okay.
give Conte a run for his money. Yeah. No, I feel like I know what you're saying. Like, obviously Lampard and Stevie G were much better players than Arteta, but he strikes me as like still feeling younger. I mean, he probably is younger.
Yeah. Arteta was still a really good player.
Yeah.
Really good player.
So.
Yeah, I don't think he's not as good as those guys were, but he's not miles away, in my mind. So, yeah.
Yeah. I see that.
All right, well, you did really well. I'll take a drink because you definitely got more of those right than you got wrong, and I wasn't really paying attention to what my drinking was. So, good job.
Okay. We got lots of drinking in there for American players, so.
Yeah, we did. All right, so close it out. What do you want to? What do you want to talk about? You want to talk about bets?
I got some would you rather for you.
Oh, yeah, okay. Hit me with
and then
that.
we can look at some bets and close it out.
All right, sweet.
Yeah, so this is so moving into the would you rathers. So this ties back in with some of the transfer rumors. So there's a couple that I actually left for here to ask you your opinion and your take on what you would do. So the top rumor right now is that both Chelsea and Arsenal are fighting to get Zaha off of Crystal Palace, which is a long time coming. Probably should have happened 3 years ago, but regardless of that, it's happening now. If you are Zaha, which team would you rather go to?
Arsenal. It's not even no hesitation. I feel like
for now this season, or
for now this season,
the next 5 years.
I can't look that far ahead. I got to look at now this season. I think Arsenal is on the upswing, and I think Chelsea is flat or on the downswing. Simply because I just feel like Chelsea doesn't know what they want to be. Maybe because Sterling's a new addition and they haven't really figured out how to set up that lineup. But you bring in Gallagher for who knows why. You have Mount, Havertz, Pulisic on the bench. I just feel like I don't know. I don't see how Zaha fits into that team really well. And I see him fitting onto Arsenal perfectly. You got Martinelli on one side, Saka on the other. I don't know who you take off to put him on. If it were me,
it's got to be Martinelli.
Martinelli, but he's been playing well, so it's tough. But I would go to Arsenal. I think Arsenal. The vibes on Arsenal are better to me.
Yeah, I agree with you. In this point in time, Arsenal is the better situation to be in. But I would choose Chelsea.
Which is shocking to think of. If you were to ask this question last year, you'd be like, oh, fucking no-brainer. Go to Chelsea.
Yeah. So I think because of their, like, obviously the dynamics of the team seem off and not where they should be. But he has the opportunity to really, like, take on that, like, attacker role there because there's just a gap there. There's just a hole. And so being like a true striker isn't his strength per se. He's kind of like an off the ball striker, winger almost,
Mm-hmm.
But he's going to do better in a position like that than someone like Havertz, like that's like being forced to play striker and shouldn't be there. So I think there's a bit of it that is a good time for him to go there, but more so the long-term side is where I'm thinking is I think Chelsea's going to spend more money. They're going to have a better opportunity to have a strong team. They're going to keep spending money. So I just would have more faith that it's a double-edged sword. I think I would have more faith that they would invest in the team with a lot of money. The downside being you're easily replaceable at the same time, right? So, and that's where it can almost make the argument to go to a place like Arsenal where there is a bit more of a, like they hold on to their players a little bit and less so than Chelsea. Chelsea's just kind of like a buy and release club. Arsenal has a little.
yeah, sorry to jump you there. Call me old fashioned, but one thing I really love about Zaha is that he's been on the same team his
Yeah,
entire career. Maybe I don't know early on, but he's been at Crystal Palace the whole time. He hasn't jumped to a bigger club, even though I think he's good enough to be on a bigger club.
yeah,
And
he is.
I really like that about him. If I were as good as he was, I would like to think I would do something like that and just be like a, a star at the club that gave me my shot, because I feel like that doesn't happen at top tier soccer. It doesn't.
It, it doesn't. It doesn't. But what's really hard, and it's because they don't really talk about it, is there a difference in pay, right? So they always talk about like the transfer fees and stuff, but it's like, is he going to get paid more money at Arsenal than he would at Crystal Palace? Probably, but we never hear about that. We never like that isn't what the discussions are about, like in American sports, where it's all about the contract and like
because we have salary
cap. Because the salary cap is like
Yeah.
driving all of this discussion, and it just doesn't happen here. So there's that sort of component where we don't ever really talk about it. I feel like where it's like, well, I'm going to get paid more if I go here and be on a better team.
Yeah.
Why not? So that's kind of I feel like a hidden shadow of the Premier League and soccer in general that we don't always hear about.
Yeah, it's one of the difference in European, even in most leagues, the Premier League, and what's different between that and American sports.
Yeah.
That kind of segues into one of the things I wanted to talk to you about. Is I was listening to Bill Simmons, and he was talking about how analytics have hurt the quality of play for baseball and for basketball. Where in baseball, it's just a less exciting game to watch, and because of that, yeah, the home run or strikeout. There's no small ball. The games take longer. There's like specialist pitchers. It's just a less entertaining product to watch. And he was also saying that in basketball he fears the same thing because there's so much emphasis on the 3-pointer now that it's just like, okay, each team is going to shoot 40 threes a game. Whoever makes their threes is going to win. It's not really. There's less close games. It's just like Steph Curry's the best player in the league, but should he be the best player in the league, or should it be someone like Giannis or something like that?
Shut up, Bill Simmons.
No, but I mean, he's just asking the question. But like the game is different than it was 10 years ago, in a dramatic way, and he wasn't saying that
Bill Simmons
better or worse. But I was thinking, I was like, the one great thing about soccer is, okay, players have become bigger, faster, stronger, more specialized. But I feel like the quality of play is very similar to how it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And the style of play maybe is a little different, but it's still a quality product, and it's similar to watching a game, say, from 92 or whatever.
I would actually take a different stance on that. I think the quality of play has gotten way better.
Oh yeah, I think that there's more top players.
Oh yeah, so I mean, it's not even like, oh, it's stayed the same in terms of quality. I feel like the quality's gotten better personally. There may be less. As I was doing the trivia, I was going back and looking at some of the old Premier League stats over the 30 years. And you can tell that there were some seasons in there where the league was extremely close top to bottom, where like the winning team, only had like, what was it, like 50 points or something, right? Where it's like, they were losing lots of games that season and still won the title, right? Yeah. So there is that sort of disparity from top to bottom, but it doesn't so much have to do with the game being played differently. It's just money.
That was more my point. I think there's way more talented players. There's more depth as far as skilled players go. I think if you took say a Champions League game from 20 years ago, like a Champions League final, and put it up against a Champions League final of today, there wouldn't be that big of a gap. But my point is although the style of game has changed a little bit, there's maybe more attacking wings than there used to be, something like that. But there's really not a big shift in the style of play that like baseball has or basketball has.
Well, yeah,
the game is totally different.
Well, it's the beauty of a game like soccer. Like that's the beauty of the game, is that there aren't these breaks in play or substitutions that are happening constantly like in basketball. There aren't all these like before every pitch is a moment to stop and think, like in baseball, and shift the field and like whatever. It's the beauty of soccer. It's just the game doesn't stop. The game's just always on. You're not subbing in and out the whole team, right? Obviously, they've expanded the subs this year, and so I would say that would be probably the one concern with it maybe starting to change the way it feels or plays out. But so far, I haven't really felt like it has.
The only thing that I could think of was VAR. VAR is the only thing that's different than how it was, and they need to get faster at it. It's too slow. They need to get faster,
but it hasn't changed. I mean, the immediate feeling when it first came through, I would say it sucks to like see a goal scored and not be able to like celebrate 100%. You know, like that for me, that's the number one thing that I'm like, it sucks that can't happen anymore. But it hasn't changed like the way the game is played.
No,
if anything, I think it's led to people playing out plays even more.
Yeah.
Like there's these goals that get scored that then get called off. It almost like makes the game more exciting sometimes, right? Because they play out the flag instead of raising the flag when they think there's offsides, and you end up with these crazy plays and somebody scores a goal and then it gets reversed. So I feel like it's almost added more drama from a devil's advocate standpoint. It kind of took away from the true natural emotional experience, but it's almost added more intrigue at times.
Yeah, the only thing that I have a problem with is it's slowing down the game a little bit, but it's still light years ahead of those other sports that I mentioned. And I think that is one of the reasons why I enjoy watching this sport so much more than those other sports. I follow baseball because I follow my team.
I can't
never watch a whole game. If I'm at the game, even I don't watch the whole game. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like it's too much.
You gotta go drink $25 shots. So
no, totally. Wow. Yeah. More like $25 like double tequila.
True.
With like a splash of Sprite in there and like call it a day. Yeah. But
I like it. It's a good question. I think it's I like, when we talk about some of these topics that are more like about the game in general, right, and not so much just about teams or players or the league. It's a cool subject matter to talk through.
But I think that's part of the reason why I enjoy watching soccer so much more than I used to 10 years ago, because the other sports have really declined. I don't watch NFL at all anymore because it fucking takes 4 hours and 2 hours of it are commercials. I'm like, I can't deal with this.
I mean, I will shout out NFL Red Zone. Makes it very watchable for me.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to watch a game unless it's my team.
Yeah, exactly.
0% chance I'm going to do that. So.
And when your team gets stripped away from you, fuck the league.
All right, I got a couple more would you rathers, and then we can move on to our betting quarter. So we were talking about Crystal Palace already and Chelsea. So a rumor right now going the other direction, and we already mentioned him earlier today, but Crystal Palace is very interested in bringing back Gallagher. So obviously he was on loan last year to Crystal Palace from Chelsea, back on Chelsea this year. Just got the red card over the weekend, but he's actually seen playing time. But they're really interested in bringing him back, potentially for a fee up to $30 million, which is pretty steep for a team like Crystal Palace.
Right.
If you were Gallagher, who would you rather be on? Would you rather be on Chelsea, where you're not guaranteed playing time? Obviously, he started last week, but that didn't go well.
Yeah, he has been playing.
What's up?
He has been playing, though, and he has been starting. So I would stick to Chelsea if they were going to start me. I'm sure he's had the conversation with them, like, yo, you going to play me? Because if not, I'm going to just go to this other team. But if they're going to play him, you got to go with Chelsea.
Do you think that they will? Do you think? Well, obviously he's playing. To me, the only reason he's playing is because Conte's out. That's what I see. Obviously, Conte's injured.
But what's weird is I feel like they don't play. They play very different. Maybe they take up the same space, but I'd much rather have Conte than him.
Yeah.
It would be difficult for a player in that position to be like, you've been a stud your entire life at soccer, and then be like, oh, I don't know if I'm quite good enough to start for this team, but I can go start for that team. Where I'm sure in his head he's like, I want to fucking start for this team.
Or for Chelsea.
And so it'd be really hard to do that. So I would lean on the Chelsea side.
I would too. So I would stick with it. I think getting back to the last conversation about Zaha is like, I also think there's this kind of a hidden side here we don't know about, that he probably has the potential to be paid more just to play at Chelsea. Yeah. And there's bigger pocketbooks there. So it's kind of a win-win, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure.
At Chelsea. All right, last one is Arsenal is interested in 2 attacking options that are out there, both from La Liga.
Okay.
And I'm curious which of these 2 you would choose to bring over to Arsenal.
If you say Griezmann, I'm gonna just hang up right now.
First on the list is Griezmann.
No.
Second on the list is Asensio.
Asensio.
Madrid.
Shut up. Game
He's
over.
supposed to be on his way out.
Asensio.
Not getting playing time.
Asensio. 100%.
I wanted to hear your response on this.
100% Asensio. It's not even a question. I mean,
so good.
I just don't like Griezmann. I think he's an above average player, and that's where it ends. He's an above average player that was on a stacked French team, and he can finish. He's a good player. He's not a great player, and that's it. Asensio, I feel like they're the same like skill level, but you can get Asensio for half the price.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I don't know price-wise the difference, but yeah, just the 2 names were tossed out there. So. Yeah. Curious to see if either of those come through. All right. You want to move on to the betting corner?
Let's go bet. I'm ready.
All right.
Yeah.
So we can do a little 2-parter here, so we can look quickly at the bets for the games, the midweek games coming up tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday. And then we could also do a little side journey off into looking at some of the Champions League futures. But for the Premier League first, is there any games that stand out to you as intriguing options?
I didn't find any that I felt real confident with, sadly. I don't know. Were there any for you?
I just picked out a few that kind of just stood out. That once again, I wouldn't be fully confident in these, but I think at least compared to history or some of the weight that the teams bring, that they're probably better odds than we would traditionally see. So one was Man U at actually plus odds to win on the road at Leicester, who's been mightily struggling. So they're plus 105, basically even odds. But typically a team like that, you would see it minus 200 or something probably to win.
Yeah.
So kind of higher than normal. Same thing with Tottenham. I saw Tottenham at even odds to win on the road at West Ham. So obviously a much stronger team than Leicester, the situation Man U's in. But straight up even odds. Tottenham will win on the road.
We could probably get some good odds on a Man U Tottenham parlay.
Yeah. And then lastly, the one I picked out, they let me down last week, but Leeds at over even odds.
I was looking at that too.
To win at home to Everton, where I think Leeds has a really good home crowd and home stadium. So those 3 stand out to me. There were no sure things like we should do that. But yeah, like you said, maybe a parlay together with those three, that type of thing would get us some pretty good odds for what would typically be some pretty sure bets.
I like those. Yeah, I was looking at that Leeds one, and I thought that might be a good option. But yeah, I'd be down for the Tottenham Man U stack, and then Brighton on the road at Fulham. You talked about how they don't concede goals. I like the under with a Brighton win. I think that could get us a good number as well.
Under and Brighton win. What's the under at?
2.5.
Okay.
Combining those, I could see them winning 2-0, 1-0. Fulham, you hate to see it, but I just don't think they're as strong.
Yeah, I really like Mitrovic, but I feel like they've had stretches where they kind of put it together, but we've yet to see like a full, complete performance, I would say.
Yeah, they're not garbage or anything. I just feel like Brighton is clicking. And they just played, 3 days ago? So, having quality chemistry, I think, matters at a time where you have 3 games in a matter of 10 days or whatever. So, I'm going to ride the wave of the team that's playing well because I think that matters. I think a lot of times in sports, we forget that chemistry matters. We forget that, I feel like confidence isn't something that erases and starts over every week. You know what I mean? And Brighton is just flying at the moment. So I want to kind of try to ride that wave.
You feel that? I think why is that letting me do a parlay? That's weird. For some reason, not let me parlay those two. Let me look at the Man U and Tottenham. Wonder if there's a rule against that, like same game parlays or something. So Man U on the road.
It might be in a different section because I think it's Prop Builder. Yeah, go to Prop Builder. It's at the bottom of the if you have the weekly open. There's like a link at the top right. It says go to Prop Builder.
Yeah, I'm doing. Usually you can just here we go. So it did it for the Man U Tottenham parlay would put him at plus 310 for them both to win. Not that exciting, but for two traditionally strong teams at places where they should traditionally be pretty strong.
Mm-hmm.
Could be some decent money there. And then let's see if we can get this other one again. So the under.
God, they have so many degenerate bets on here. Bobby Reed to have 4+ shots and a Fulham win. Who's betting that?
Yeah, I guess at least on Bovada here, it doesn't let you, you can't bet a same game over, under, and winner.
Yeah.
You have to do them as separate bets.
That seems obvious. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's all good. Well, let's just take, in that case, I'm just going to take the under then. I think that's safer than picking the winner.
Add the under into the Tottenham Man U.
I don't want to, no, I wasn't. Sure, why not? Fuck it.
That would put us at 630 plus 638 odds.
Okay, that's pretty good.
That starts getting into good territory there. Yeah, so I'll jot that one down.
Yeah, let's mark that one down.
Yeah, and then Brighton
under.
The full of Brighton under.
What's crazy is the Man City over under is 4.
Yeah,
you don't see that very often.
Yeah, there's only a few teams that get odds like that.
What's Liverpool coming off a 9-0 win? Where are they?
Oh man,
They're 3.5. Yeah.
Yeah, they're playing Newcastle, so
Newcastle's gonna be one of those teams where it's like, oof, scary, but are they consistent? Can
who are
you
you
trust
gonna
them this
get?
week?
Yeah, and then you see the odds like Nottingham at Nottingham or the draw for Manchester City Nottingham at plus 1100. It's like throw $10 on that, you know?
Right? Well, they could easily. They're just so much better than everybody else. It's crazy.
I know. You see odds like that though, and it starts getting wild. Like that is so much money going on Man City for the odds to be dragged that far.
I know. It's crazy. All right, so reminder to you: next week starts in like 4 days. So many games this week. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we'll be back Thursday night. That's the plan. So
yeah, let's
break.
try to stick to Thursday. We'll be back up.
2-day break. We'll be back, and then we'll hold off on our Champions League picks until next episode, and then we'll run through some of the future odds for winners, top goal scorer, making the cut when it comes to Champions League.
For sure. Maybe we do a Champions League draft of teams.
Oh, yeah.
We could do that.
Teams?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe pick like 5 each.
I
think that's probably...
we'll
10 is probably the cutoff to where teams... You probably won't consider a team outside the top 10 to win the Champions League.
Yeah. No, yeah. Well, no, we could make it a little pick'em game out of it if we want. You know, if they make the knockout stage, it's a point.
Yeah.
They, make the quarters, so on. So
no, for sure. We're putting stakes to it.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, we'll make it exciting. I think that's we'll do a little draft action, like we did with the World Cup. So,
yeah. Have you done your fantasy football drafts? American football?
I've done one. I've got 3 more to go. So.
Oh my God, you're doing 4? 3 is my limit.
One of them is for free, so that's just like a family fun thing. But the other 3 are for money. So unfortunately, the first one I got to practice on was the free one. So, but yeah, I mean that's gonna be that's gonna be a lot of work every week. So I'm doing 4 fantasy football leagues. We're already doing fantasy soccer, so 5 fantasy leagues. We're doing the soccer pick'ems.
Yep.
I'm doing 3 different football pick'ems.
Yep.
And then I'm doing 2 survivor leagues for football. So that's 11 things.
You're gonna forget one of those at least.
11 things every week I gotta do. So
damn. Yeah.
Lots of reminder alarms getting set.
I got my big league draft this Saturday. So that's the one I care about most.
The one that matters?
Yes. So that'll be Saturday in person. Should be fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, my other buddy's trying to do one in person back home, but I don't know if I can make it.
Yeah. Those are the best in-person ones.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I came once to yours. I came to your fantasy draft one.
Oh, yeah.
With all your friends, yeah. It was pretty funny. I forget who it was. Chris or someone was dressed up in like a mermaid costume or something.
Yeah, the last place team has to...
Yeah.
They get dressed by not the winning team, but the highest scoring team.
Okay.
The winning team gets the championship belt, and then the highest scoring team gets to select the outfit for the loser.
Yeah, one of my leagues, there's no penalty for last place, but I think we're thinking of adding something, but the winning trophy is a golden jock strap with dog tags for each winner. So I'm still looking to get the jock strap over here.
I actually watch here. I have the championship belt. Let me show it to you real quick.
Oh, you won last year, huh? Let's find it.
Look at this thing. It's like 20 pounds.
Damn, that's a real belt.
That is a real belt.
Does it have the names on the side or something?
Yeah, it's like got... Oh, wait, the other side. I actually don't have mine inscribed on here yet, but yeah, we have them right here.
Here we go. So I got the... Yeah, so here's ours. The let's see if I can get the camera up. So we got the golden jock strap.
Oh, wow. Dog tags.
Yeah, every year you get a dog tag added with your name.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, this is so funny.
Yeah. Love it.
I know,
I think I'm back to back. I think I finished second back-to-back years in that league. So
the worst.
I'm ready for the strap to gently caress me.
Nice. All right, man. Well, I'll talk to you in a couple days.
Yeah.
We got a lot of games over the next couple days.
All right.
I'm definitely going to be working a little more distracted the next few days in the mornings because I'll be watching the games.
True. Priorities.
All right. Later.
All right, man. Go out chugging.